Hey everybody, this is Perch. Super Bowl Sunday. Do we remember? Most of the time, and I think if you're not into one of the two big teams playing, you're there for I would say the sport of it, but the Super Bowl typically is not great for actual competitive watching a good game. Rarely. I don't know. I don't think that's any kind of hot take. And then people are watching for the ads. Ever since they all started going on YouTube like hours before, I don't know. I don't know who does that anymore, but anyway, I what can you possibly do? Anyway, maybe you're watching the Super Bowl, Eagles and Chiefs. I don't care. I just don't. Not this game. There's some teams I care about. Congratulations, these two are neither one of those. Anyway, let's get to a mail here. It says long form storytelling is bad for comics. Goes the mail. Okay, I don't agree at all, but let's see what we got. It says, howdy, Perch. I think long form stories are actually a bad idea. Specifically, in this current market of $4 books, if I spend $3, price of coffee, I want a full story beginning, middle, and end. I don't want a piece of a story. I don't care how amazing the epic is that I'm paying $4. I want $4 worth of story. If I was a young buyer, I think I'd actually hate that. My brain would go, I just bought half a story. Now I got to cough up $4 for the other half. F that. I think it works well in a situation where I'm paying like $1 a comic or $10 for a subscription, but the value proposition doesn't make sense. What I am paying for in the underlying story for what am I paying for? What I am paying for an unsatisfying story and some nice glossy paper. Thanks. I'll get a haircut in Starbucks or Arby's meat, not a meat. Don't you bring that evil into this channel. What are you talking about? At least then I'll be thoroughly satisfied. Okay, your opinion sucks, my friend. Sucks. I'm sorry. Arby's, step too far. That's the thing. The customer wants to be satisfied. Then they don't go to Arby's. All right. Glossy, high color paper may satisfy the collector, but the average reader just wants a finished story. Well, yeah. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, other than this Arby's stuff, which is just pure bullshit, but okay. I understand where you're coming from. Okay, we'll finish this off. Can be on tissue paper for all I care, as long as I close the issue with a smile, a cry, a laugh, even feeling devastated at what happened to my favorite characters. I just want satisfaction. I don't know why this industry circles a drain so much. Maybe it's the people, maybe it's the distribution, maybe it's stories, but for me, the business model on a one-note shitty story that costs $4 just doesn't make sense. If there was a Marvel site I could pay and get sort of all-you-can-eat thing for $5 or something, maybe I'd be happy with the price of something, but they're all asking me to buy it every month for the same price. It doesn't make sense. All right, so your beef here, my friend, is the price. It's not the long-form storytelling, it's the price. And I agree with you. The price is a problem. $4 for a decompressed story that's going to take 12 issues to resolve, and lately, that might not even happen. I agree. That doesn't work. The value prop is off completely. And until that problem gets solved, I think it's going to be a thing. The thing is the content inside the comics. Here's this weird way of looking at it. And it's everything's broken, but here's a weird way of looking at it. Right now, Marvel's publishing about 80 books a month. Okay. Now everybody gets all, bent out of shape about stupid shit. Bishop War College, the X-Men are black now for a story that's going to have 5 issues and not matter whatsoever. Or, hey, Kelly Thompson's still pushing his Jeff the Landshark shit up the hill that nobody cares about. Or whatever. There's all these comics. But if all of these 80 comics were 80 comics in Netflix, meaning if you were paying $9.95 a month, and every month you got 80 comics, and some of them are books you want to read. Some of them are this Avengers War Through Time book by Alan Davis, which I loved. And some of them are Jeff the Landshark. Well, you would go, well, fuck it. I mean, I don't care. Okay. I will happily ignore Jeff the Landshark, just like I ignore the other shit on Netflix that I don't care about. And you'd probably be happier with you'd probably be okay with your $9.95. If you were paying $10 a month for all you can eat Marvel, it probably would work out. Now, some of you would go, oh, this is still bullshit. They took characters that I love. They took the X-Men and other things that were once great comics, and they ruined them. That's fine. Not denying that. But I bet most of you would be happier. At least your anger would be different. Your anger would be more where it should be, which is, why they fuck these comics that I enjoy, why they ruin These things that once upon a time were epic stories. Why they do that? It would be a different kind of anger. The problem is, in a world where you're being asked to spend, again, the $4 a month for a story that is incomplete, and you like the long form storytelling, you loved it when Claremont did it, but now when the story is ass, it's not as good, is it? That's the core problem. So I don't know what to tell you. Unfortunately, the unfortunately the answer here is it costs too much, and so when it costs too much, and you're being told you have to, well, here it's cost too much. It's not very good. That's the problem. That's the problem you've got here. I think that comic should look. I mean, the salute. Put this way: let's say they do what you do. Let's say they do kind of what you're asking for, and they give you everything is one and done now. There's no long. You get a beginning, middle, and end inside every comic, but it's the current writers, the current kind of way the character is going, current stories. Are you happier? I don't think you are. I doubt you are. I'm pretty sure you're pissed off still, because again. You're not going to want to pay $4 for a story that sucks either. So it's not like if you just change the format of the story that suddenly the price works out. The price is still terrible. That's where your head's going to go. So long form storytelling, short form storytelling, to me doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter at all. It's the price. The price hurts. And if you were, if you, $4 is too much for a comic. Look, I mean, it's not rocket science. It's too much. It shouldn't be. I remember one of these days, one day, if he'd ever do it, I went to talk to Joe Quesada. He's got a lot of things going on. Everybody would, I'm sure, want me to talk about One More Day and all that. But the thing I want to talk about is he said once upon a time in an interview that, hey, comics are an actual good deal. If you think about the kind of entertainment for only $4 and the amount of work that goes into it, a month's worth of writing and drawing and all this kind of stuff, that it's actually a pretty good deal. And I get where he's coming from is, hey, the labor that goes into make a comic book is actually pretty intensive. You're getting a lot of work there with the art and the inking, lettering, coloring, and all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of work that goes into it. We're selling that to you for only $4. Yeah, totally. I totally get it. Except it doesn't work out that way. It should, if you're buying original art, sure, then you could mark it up for a lot more than that. But for a comic book, it doesn't matter that it's $4. Look, I mean, hundreds of thousands of hours sometimes go into video games or movies. A lot longer than it takes to make a comic book. Well, that game costs $49. Yeah, more than $4, but still, if you're now taking labor into the picture, yeah, the math is weird. It doesn't fit, but that doesn't make it a good value. $4 for a comic book is just, it's not a good value. So again, I think if you were to eliminate long form storytelling in comics, I think that would be the final nail in the coffin for a lot of comics. The only reason a lot of people are still collecting some of this stuff is because it's like a soap opera. They're hooked. They want to see what happens next. If you take that away, you basically are unhooking, you're unpinning, the key value prop to the business. You certainly could do one and done issues. People do them all the time, but it's not going to work. It will not work for you if you take that away entirely. People will abandon the comics. The audience will trickle off. You got it. People always hate it when I say this and I compare comics to soap operas, but it is. It's the same model. It's get hooked on a character, get the audience to fall in love with that character and the situation, throw little curveballs out now and then to see how the character is going to react. People follow along. They get emotionally invested in what they're watching. Same premise behind wrestling. Same premise behind, look, right now in wrestling, you have this situation where you got this Roman Reigns character who just the WWE pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and nobody went for it. And they tried to make a good guy and, all the rest. So finally they leaned into him being a bad guy, kind of a smug, arrogant, manipulative bad guy. And he's kind of like the arrogant, it's not like a, mustache twirling bad guy like we've seen in the past. It's somebody who is, dominating the field and won't leave room for anybody else. And they did this thing with Sami Zayn, which is, one of the B characters on the show, where Sami had, his previous bit before getting involved in this whole Roman Reigns thing was a feud with Johnny Knoxville from Jackass, and Johnny Knoxville won. So, he wasn't at the top of his game. But they basically took a long-ass time, long-form storytelling, to build up this idea of Sami Zayn kind of sucking up to Roman Reigns, wanting to be part of his group. He's not part of his group. There's a very, very subtle hint of race stuff there, because you have the Samoans of Roman Reigns and his family, and then you got pasty white Sami Zayn there with his red hair, running around. So there's a little bit of, and he wants to be part of the Brotherhood. There's a little bit of, there's a little aspect to that people don't, I noticed doesn't come up a lot, but definitely was a factor in everything. Was they were playing with that concept as well. It was the visual of the super white guy with the Samoans, but anyway. And it took forever for them to get to the punchline, which was, Sami Zayn gets kind of shit on over and over and over and over and over and over. And he's got this, this friend, Kevin Owens, who's now challenging for the belt. And so, and all this stuff, the friendship goes back like 10 years. So, it's really building on years, if not decades, of story to get to this point. And so finally, when they get to the point that Sami snaps and he won't take it anymore, and he's not gonna do it anymore. He's gonna be his own man. The crowd popped huge, meaning, it's like it blew the roof off. WWE sells tickets off that. Long form storytelling. If every event was one and done, people wouldn't show up. But despite all that, despite everything I just mentioned, the WWE still made the deals with Peacock and shuttered like their network, and all the rest had to walk away from $40 pay-per-views every month. They had to change their model, because even with the long-form storytelling, nobody's going to pay for that. It's just too much. So comics is in a similar boat. It's actually the similarities between the two are striking, always have been. But we need long-form storytelling. We just can't have this price. Anyway, thanks for listening. Your opinion on Arby's sucks. Hardcore sucks. Just flat wrong. Acknowledge me. No Arby's. Thanks for listening.